blackened pork chop with sauteed cabbage in the Ninja Combi. 20-minute meal. Let me show you how we did it. So in my bottom pan, what I've got here is some Canadian bacon. I didn't have any real bacon, so what I'm using is Canadian bacon, probably a little healthier for me anyway. And about 1/4 of an onion. And what I'm gonna do, because I'm not, if I were using bacon, I wouldn't do this, but because it's Canadian bacon, I'm just gonna add just a little bit of olive oil to help that. And I'm going to chop up my cabbage. So while I'm chopping up my cabbage, I'm going to put this in the Combi on the sear function and let that be cooking down a little bit. So I'm going to go into the bottom. We're going to flip it to air fry. So for the sear saute, the door has to be open. So I'm actually got it on sear saute, but I'm going to go up to high and I'm going to hit start. And we're going to let that start to cook down in there while I chop up the cabbage. Alright, so after about 6 minutes, that's how long it took me to prep my pork chops and cut up my cabbage. So I'm going to take that pan out of there. With bacon, it may take you a little bit longer. And as you can see, that meat's starting to get some smoky brown on it, and that's what I want to flavor that cabbage. And I'm going to attempt to get all this cabbage in here. This was a pretty big head of cabbage. And you know, cabbage as it cooks will cook down. So I'm going to fill this pan and see if the Combi can handle it. I also had a couple of cloves of garlic in there with the cabbage. I'm going to hit it with some salt and pepper. You can season this however you would normally season your cabbage. Just remember that pan's hot. And I don't know if it needs it, but I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of liquid. I would use broth, but that was just water. Normally I would use a little bit of broth, but literally it was about 2 tablespoons. We're going to go into that bottom with that. And what I've got here is some pork chops that I have seasoned with blackening seasoning. My favorite is Zatarain's, but use whatever you want. You could just do salt and pepper however you want it, but I went with the blackening seasoning tonight. And I'm going to go into that top level with those pork chops. Now it's on sear, so we're going to have to change it up. So I'm going to hit stop. And I'm going to close that door. I'm going to flip that magic button up to Combi cooker. And I'm on Combi meals. I'm going to go down to 385. And on the time, I think those pork chops will probably be done in about 10 minutes, but I'm not sure on the cabbage. So I'm going to do 20 minutes and we'll check everything. We'll start checking everything at 10 to see where we're at. So of course it's going to take it a minute to come up to temperature, so we'll see what the total cook time is. So after about 5 minutes it kicked in and started cooking, so we'll see how long it takes it to cook those chops and cabbage. So we've been cooking for 10 minutes. I'm going to take those, look at those chops. Oh yeah, I do not want to overcook the chops and them be tough, so I'm going to check the temperature. Then we're going to take a look at the cabbage, but that cabbage looks pretty as well. Oh yeah, we're done on the pork chops. 150 to 160, really about between 140 and 160, depending on how done you like your pork chops. So we're going to get those out of the way. Let's take a look at the cabbage. Look how pretty. I'm going to stir that around. Take a look at it. Oh yeah, look on the bottom. That meat has caramelized on there. So we're gonna mix all that up to get some of that smoky flavor on there. And I really think our cabbage is done too, so I'm gonna test it. Oh yeah, our cabbage is definitely done. So literally 10 minutes of cook time. If you wanted softer cabbage, you could let it go for a little bit longer. So it was a total cook time of 10 minutes. So this is definitely a 30-minute meal, under a 30-minute meal, depending on how long it took you to prep your cabbage and pork chops. I'm serving this up with some cornbread and a side salad. So let's plate it up. So there we have it, blackened pork chops with cabbage in the Ninja Combi. Like and subscribe now to see more Combi recipes to come. Also check out that cornbread recipe. I've got a skillet oven recipe as well as a cornbread in the Ninja Speedy. Check out both of those videos and like and subscribe now to see more. Enjoy.